Hello everyone, welcome back to Tech Dudes. In our previous episode, we have created AWS free tier account, configured it with multi-factor authentication, and explored the AWS management console in basic, right? So in today's video, we are going to learn one of the most important tool for every AWS developer, that is AWS Command Line Interface, okay, also known as AWS CLI. In today's video, we are going to learn what is AWS CLI, why do we need AWS CLI, install and configure the AWS CLI in our mission, run your first AWS CLI commands, and verify the AWS CLI installation and connection to AWS account. Okay, and a few best practices tips. Okay, so now let's see what is AWS CLI. Okay, so AWS CLI stands for AWS Command Line Interface. Okay, it is official tool provided by AWS. By using this, we can manage AWS services directly from the terminal. We no need to go to browsers, search for AWS console, log in, and navigating between the pages, etc. Instead of using AWS console and navigating between pages, we can use AWS CLI, which is more faster, right? Next, why do we need AWS CLI? AWS CLI helps us automate tasks, work faster, and manage AWS resources using commands. Okay, it is widely used by developers, DevOps engineers, and automation tools. You will use AWS CLI frequently for deploying applications and managing cloud resources and running some automation scripts, etc. Right? So we no need to log into AWS console every time. Instead of logging and accessing from AWS console, we can easily access through AWS CLI, right? Now, without getting delay, let's download and install the AWS CLI and configure it and test it. Now, let's download the AWS CLI. Okay, open your browser and search for AWS CLI download. Okay, enter and click on this first link. So it is AWS official documentation. Okay, so in this first one, it is to install the past versions. Okay, so we need to install latest version, right? So this is the latest version, AWS CLI install and update instructions. Now we need to select our OS. So mine is Windows OS, so I'm clicking on this, and here we can install two types. One is with command and with exe file download. Okay, so now click on this link. It will automatically download the latest AWS CLI. If you can see, it is downloading. Okay, once the download is complete, open the installer. Okay, then it will display like this, and currently it is computing space requirements. It will take some time, wait for some time. Okay, okay, so the installation process is very simple. Okay, just click on next, accept the license agreement, and click on next. So click on next, and this is the license agreement. Check this and click on next, again next. So install. So that's it. With that step, it will take some time to install. Okay, once installation is done, we'll see the finish button. Okay, okay, after the installation is completed, click on finish. Okay, now the installation is completed. Now we need to verify the installation, right? So for that, in your search for cmd, open. Okay, so after it is opening, we need to enter some commands. First, we need to check the AWS CLI is installed or not. We need to verify the installation, right? For that, we need to enter AWS space hyphen version. Okay, so with this command, it will show which version is installed on your system. Okay, now it is installed AWS CLI 2. Okay, now we need to configure the AWS CLI, right? So for that, we need to execute some commands. You no need to worry about these commands. I will provide all these commands in the description. Do check it out. Okay, so now let's enter AWS space configure, enter. So now what's happening, it is asking for AWS access key ID, right? So this acts like a username that identifies your AWS credentials, right? So for that, minimize this, and we need to go to AWS console login. Okay, there these sign in. Now this time we need to log in with a root user, because the user which we have created in IAM, that user is not having sufficient permissions to generate access key and secret key, right? So we need to log in root user for now. We need to enter this one. FP. Okay. Now the password. We need to enter the password. Now we need to submit the MFA. Enter. So with that, we logged in and go to IAM and go to IAM users, select tech dudes. So for this, we need security credentials, right? So click on this. Here we can generate access key, right? So create access key, and use case for command line interface. So for this, we need access keys, right? So just check this and click on next, and description tag value. So this is optional. Just click on create access key. Now access key, secret key, both are generated, right? So in the future, we may forget these access keys and secret keys, right? So for that, what we can do is to re-get again the secret key. Access key will get, but secret keys we can't. So for that reason, I'm downloading the CSV file. Click on this. So when you open this one, it will contain your AWS use IAM users access key and secret key. Okay, so these are the access keys and secret keys. Open this. Now open our CMD. We need to enter access key, right? So copy this and enter. Now we need to enter secret key. Again, copy this, paste here, enter. Now what next? So it will ask the default region, right? So let's see. If you can see, now we are in global region, right? So we need to set a default region. So I'm using US iPhone East iPhone 1, and now it will ask the output format. So I'll use JSON. Okay, so JSON, it will be very easy for reading, right? So JSON, yes, that's it. So now with this step, AWS configuration is successfully completed. Now we need to test AWS configuration is successfully completed or not, right? So we have configured it. Now we need to test. Now for that, enter AWS configure list. Okay, so this command displays the current AWS CLI configuration, including region and credentials. If you can see, name value and profile is not set, and we can define which profile it is, a development, production, etc. Whatever it may be, the profile name should be your wish. You can define the profile name, and here it is access key and secret key, and this is a region. Okay, so now let's execute command 2. Okay, AWS sts get hyphen caller hyphen identity. Okay, yeah, these commands verify the AWS CLI is successfully connected to AWS account. Okay, it displays our AWS account ID here, and the user ID here, and the ARN. Okay, so this is the user ARN, right? So now the next command, we'll see the what is the next command. Okay, so now let's enter AWS S3 ls. So what it will do, it will return all the available S3 list. So far we don't have any AWS S3 buckets, etc., right? So we can't see. And also this user, whatever the user we have created, that user is not having sufficient permissions to access the S3. So we have limited permissions. If we want, we should go to IAM, we should attach to S3 policy. So in the next session, we are going to learn about IAM. So what is IAM, what is policy, what is permission, and what kind of permissions we can get there. And so everything we can discuss more about in the next video. Okay. Before we finish, let's look at a new AWS CLI best practices. First, always use an IAM user instead of the root account for daily activities. Okay. Second thing, never share your access key ID and secret key ID. Third thing, use the principle of least privilege, meaning grant only the permissions that are required. For example, if you see when I'm calling yesterday, I'm unable to get it because for this user, we shouldn't give access. So let's say for IT team, we should give IT access only. For developer, we should give only the developer resources access only. So if we give entire access, so they will create so many resources and our AWS cost will be more, right? So that's the reason we should give only limited access. And finally, keep your AWS CLI updated so you have the latest features, bug fixes, and security improvements in the latest AWS CLI. Okay. In this video, we learned what AWS CLI is, why it's important, how to install and configure it, and how to verify that it's successfully connected to our AWS account. In the next episode, we will explore IAM in detail, including users, groups, roles, and policies. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.